Ebony World, transforming lives for life. Transforming lives for life. So assuming that we're able to achieve 5% interest rate, 5%. If we are doing 1 naira per day, in 5 years, we'll have accumulated 2,000. In 10 years, 4,000. In 15 years, 8,000. In 20 years, 12,000. In 25 years, 18,000. In 30 years, 25,000. That's at 1 naira per day, 5% interest rate. In 35 years, 34,000. In 40 years, 46,000. In 45 years, 61,000. In 50 years, 80,000. And in 60 years, 135,000. Assuming I want to accelerate this process, instead of doing 1 naira per day, I can do 2 naira per day. 2 naira per day at 5% interest rate in 5 years will give me 4,000. If I do 3 naira per day, 5 years, 6,000. If I do 4 naira per day, 9,000. If I do 5 naira per day, 10,000. If I do 6 naira per day, 12,000. If I do 7 naira per day, 14,000. If I do 8 naira per day, 17,000 in 5 years. If I do 9 naira per day, 19,000. If I do 10 naira per day, 21,000. And if I do 11 naira per day, 23,000. If I do 12 naira per day, 25,000. If I do 13 naira per day, 27,000. If I do 14 naira per day, 29,000. If I do 15 naira per day, 31,000. If I do 16,000 naira per day, 33,000. I do 17, 36. I do 18, 38. I do 19, 40. And I do 20, 42. 42. In 5 years. What if I extend the timing to 10 years? 2 naira a day at 5% will give me 9,000. 3 naira 14,000. 4 naira 25,000. 5 naira 24,000. 6 naira 29,000. 7 naira 33,000. 10 naira 48,000. 15 naira 72,000. 18 naira 86,000. And 20 naira 96,000. What if I decide to push it to 15 years? At 2 naira per day, I make 16,000. 3 naira 24. 4 naira 51. 5 naira 41. 10 naira 82. 15 naira. 15 naira in 15 years at 5%, I'll have 124,000. 18 naira, I'll have 148,000. 20 naira, I have 165. And I push again the horizon to about 20 years. And as you can see, it just keeps accelerating, keeps accelerating, keeps accelerating. So by the time I'm doing for 25 years, 1 naira per day gives me 18,000, 2 naira 36, 3 naira 54, 4 naira 158, 5 naira 91. I think that's 58, not 158, that's 58. 5 naira 91, 6 naira 109, 7 naira 128, 8 naira 101, 9 naira 114, 10 naira 126, 15 naira. 15 naira, I'm doing 20 years, I'm doing 190. 19 naira, I'm doing 240. 20 naira, I'm doing 253. Now, what if I really want to push myself, and I don't have more money to invest other than what I'm doing, and I can't get more than 5%. So as you can see, 5% is modest. It's very modest. By the time you are 45 years and you are saving 20 naira per day, you have 1.2 million. In fact, you hit your first million when you save 17 naira per day. 17 naira per day for 45 years. If we extend that to 60 years, I'm doing 20 naira per day, I have 2.7 million naira. Assuming that I'm able to up my rate to 10%, something dramatic begin to happen. So look at 20 naira per day at 20% is giving me 24,400,000 as against 20 naira per day at 5%, 2.7. This is the power of geometric progression, compound interest. So 20 naira a day, 10% in 60 years, I have 24.4 million. Assuming I'm not waiting for 60 years, 20 naira per day, in 30 years, I have hit my first million, 1.3 million. And the truth is, many of us are above 30 right now, but we don't have 100,000 to our credit in the bank, much less 1 million naira. So as you can see, these tables are exhaustive. You can use these to do your financial planning, and you will get exactly the same answer that we have here. It's not rocket science. It is discipline. It is consistency. It is persistence. When it is exciting, when it is not exciting, when it is dull, when it is beautiful, you're just doing it. Assuming that I'm able to do 15%, an additional 5% more. Take a look at what happens when I do 20 naira per day. In 60 years, I have 245 million. Wow. In 60 years, I have 245 million. That is a big nest of, you know, money. 245 million. So if you do, say, 10 naira per day at 15%, in 60 years, you're having about 122,000. 122,000. So let's finally look at 20% interest rate. If we can achieve 20%, this is the game changer. Wow. If I'm doing 20 naira per day and I can achieve 20% of annual interest rate, over a 60-year period, I have 2.5 billion. Over 19 years, I have 2.3 billion. Over 18 years, I have 2.2 billion. Over 17 years, 17 naira per day rather, 17 naira per day for over 60 years at 20% rate, I have 2.1 billion. 16 naira per day at 20% interest rate over 60 years, I have 2 billion. Now, as you can see, we're already in the realm of the billions. What do you want to do with a billion naira? That's more important than even the amount itself. If you want to just raise maybe 25 million, you are doing 20 naira per day at 20% interest rate. It will take you 35 years to accumulate 25 million. If a modest amount you want is 10 million, look at this table. 10 million. 10 million, if I'm doing 20 naira per day, it will take me 30 years to make 10 million, 10.3. So if this timing is long, what do? I just accelerate my investment amount. As soon as you accelerate your investment amount, you accelerate your outcome. This is it, and it is very, very possible for us to do. Thank you.